Morning, folks. Unitic here on an absolutely gorgeous Sunday, June 28th in Clifty Falls State Park in Indiana. My first video I've recorded in my sixth state, Kentucky being the fifth. Dipped into Kentucky for just a few miles after Ohio, then back into Ohio, and now into Indiana. Been very wet the last week or so. Got caught in some pretty torrential downpours, and I had the threatening severe weather a number of times. Made it a little nerve-wracking, but luckily it dodged me, or I dodged it. So other than the rain, it wasn't too bad. And I found out long ago that I'm waterproof. No matter how many times I get rained on, I always dry out. Sometimes the clothes take a little longer and the gear in the backpack, but as I've mentioned before, on a long distance hike in the summertime in the eastern US, you get used to being damp, whether you like it or not, on a rainy day or a sunny day. It goes with the territory. So I just passed through Madison, Indiana yesterday and camped here in Clifty Falls State Park, which is right outside of Madison. Beautiful park, been here a number of times. Highly recommend it. Great trails, day hiking trails for families, gorgeous waterfalls and vistas. Just a really, as you can tell, serene place. I'll kind of pan around here. If you look down below me there, you see the ridge I'm on drops off, and there's a number of waterfalls down there. Obviously we're really close to the Ohio River, and this watershed drains right into the Ohio, so Clifty Falls is a cool place. And had a great time in Madison yesterday. Was gonna come in for breakfast and camp on the east side of Madison, but didn't see any good campsites, and the cheeseburger and cold beer siren was calling me those last 4 or 5 miles, so I did 27 miles yesterday, 24 into Madison, and then had a cheeseburger and a couple of beers with my friend Amber. We worked together for many years at the Red Cross, and I got to meet her husband Mark, who's a great guy, and they were actually kind enough to buy me dinner. I called him and asked him to come join me, and they buy me dinner. I don't know how that works, but you know, I'm not asking questions. Thank you. Thank you, young Amber and Mark. Really appreciate it. And now I'm gonna put in a 20-mile day and meet my friend Drew, Chief Operating Officer of the Trek for Truth. Drew, my man, and his mom, Marty. Marty runs a bed and breakfast in their hometown of Austin, Indiana. And Marty was kind enough to email me last night and offered to put me up for a night in their bed and breakfast tonight, which is an incredible offer, especially because it got down in the mid-50s last night, and I left my sleeping bag at home about 10 days ago when we'd had a couple of weeks straight with it never getting below 70 degrees at night. Last night I got cold. Put on my rain jacket and my bug shirt and my socks and zipped on my bottom of my pants, but it didn't quite do the trick. So thank you, Marty, and Drew's gonna pick me up. We're gonna go have dinner at Marty's home and bed and breakfast in Austin, and then I'll be home in Louisville for a while. Really excited to see my friends from the Louisville Esoteric Society and a bunch of other friends, my cycling buddies, my backpacking buddies, and ponder the next stage of this trek. Drew and I are considering the idea of changing over to a bicycle because I got started later than I'd planned this year, April instead of March. There's really no way I can finish this hike if I follow the American Discovery Trail 5,000-mile route before the snows close the passes in the Rockies west of Denver. You got to get there and get across the Rockies, you know, by early October at the latest. Earlier the better. And then you got to get across the Sierra Nevadas in California. If you miss that time window, you've basically got to break the hike into 2 years. So right now, physically, I could get as far as Denver this year walking, but if I switch to bike packing, Drew and I, our feeling is we could keep the momentum going and hopefully build momentum. It would be a different kind of experience. The downside is I don't think I get to meet as many people along the way. You get to meet a lot of people going 3 miles an hour and have conversations anywhere you are, but the idea of being able to get to California has some allure too. And there's different kinds of things we could do on the bike. Drew got me a GoPro camera for my 55th birthday, the day before I left for the trail. And the GoPro could work really well on a bicycle as well as standing still. So I'm thinking about that. Anybody has ideas, let me know. When I'm in Louisville, Drew and I are going to meet on July the 5th and sit down and put our heads together and decide what makes sense. If I do that, we'll sell my road bike, my racing bike, which I love but I no longer race, and use that money to buy a good old rugged touring bike that can carry a load of gear and has the gearing to make it up and down steep, mostly up steep hills. So your thoughts are welcome. We'll keep you posted. Good morning. And the other thing I wanted to just touch base on today was about perspective. I'm going to record another more serious video about something called Agenda 21 and what I've personally witnessed in small town America, walking 1,100 miles through many, many small towns, most of which are not doing well. And a big part of that is because of something called Agenda 21. And I'll talk more about that in that upcoming video. Probably be one where I'll make some notes and sit down in a quiet spot and try to stay focused and on topic with that. But the perspective part that I wanted to mention today is just the idea of how things can change dramatically in our lives. And this kind of goes out to all my friends that are challenged with chronic illnesses, which is a lot of people in the US, or current estimates are as many as half of Americans are dealing with a chronic illness, which is insane. And it kind of connects back to the video I did a few weeks ago on eugenics and genocide, which I encourage people to go back and watch. Drew just did a wonderful blog post today, posted it today, the 28th, on that topic, and encourage you to visit our website on the blog page and catch up with Drew's writing there. But as I was thinking about meeting Drew and his mom, I was looking at the map after I got her email and trying to figure out like a good meeting point. And I found this little town in Chelsea, or in Indiana, called Chelsea. And I looked at the distance and where I was, and the thought came to me, well, that's only 20 miles away. I can get there easily by 3 or 4 o'clock. And later that morning, I sat there thinking, there was a time not very long ago, in the end of the first week of this trek in Maryland, where I decided to do a 20-mile day because there was no place to camp, and I was going to get into a motel for the first time in a week. And I remember getting psyched up that night, and I remember how painful that walk was and how far that seemed and how challenging. And at the last 3 or 4 miles, all I wanted to do was sit down and quit that day. And honestly, a lot of self-doubt about whether I could do this hike. And now, literally just 9 weeks later, the perspective shifts. Luckily, I'm very grateful for this. My body has as it has tried to most of my life, served me so well. And I want to send a lot of love and appreciation to my body, as I hope you will to yours. No self-talk about what you don't like about your body. Let's keep focused on what we do. Support it like a friend, a dear friend that deserves respect and consideration and kindness. So I've asked a lot on my body, and it has given me more than I could have hoped for. And now, 9 weeks later, I think of only 20 miles. So, not a heavy topic this morning. Just wanted to leave that with you and let you share a little beauty, natural beauty this morning. This is probably the prettiest weather day I've had in the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's only going to get up to low 70s today. Sorry, a lot of cycle riders, motorcycle riders enjoy this park too, and the country roads around here. All good people though. I got to meet a bunch of them at breakfast this morning as I hit the Clifty Inn and partook of a breakfast buffet. Every self-respecting hiker will hit any buffet within 2 miles of the trail, and I pity the restaurants that would try to make a profit off too many hikers, because I can eat. Anyway, excited about seeing my buddy Drew, meeting his mom today, seeing my dog Cuz, my son Gabe, and my family, and being home for a while. Really grateful for all of you all that have sent love and kindness and encouragement over the first 1,100 miles and 10 weeks of this adventure, and more soon. For today, it's Unitic out.